Hello once again, everybody. It's a great day just north of London, Ohio. We're on the grounds of the Molly Cairn Agricultural Center. I'm visiting with the superintendent of the center here, Matt Sullivan. Matt, you couldn't ask for a better day. Let's hope we get 3 of them in September.
I tell you what, Gary, when you have low humidity and 75-degree temperatures and a little bit of breeze, that's Farm Science Review weather.
Well, every year there's something new, and we're standing in something new right now. There are a few of our little furry friends behind us.
You know, we have installed 15 beehives here to incorporate all the different educational type opportunities we have here at the Gwinn Conservation Area. And these hives are part of a new prairie project that we're doing here at the Molly Cairn Ag Center, Gwinn Conservation Area.
You know, this is a hidden treasure. I think some people come to the Farm Science Review and maybe for a couple of reasons. Maybe they want to see everything in the exhibit area and they run out of time and don't make it over here. For whatever reason, today highlights some of the great things that you can see on the Gwinn Center.
You know, one of the things about the Gwinn is it's easy to get to from the review. You just hop on the shuttles at the west end of the exhibit area, and then at the first stop, you get off and you can experience all the neat things here. You know, we talked about the beehives. We've talked about 10 acres of prairie and all the different types of flowers that'll be blooming during review. And then we have a lot of landowner practices, such as different types of grasses you can put in your acreage, whether if you're not growing corn, soybeans, but you have 5 acres a lot, you can use those type of grasses there. And then we also have different types of trees here. We have pawpaw trees, we have oak trees, we have trees that you can learn about what type of wood you want to raise for your next generation.
And of course, the birds of the air, Bluebirds, has a special project out here.
We have partnered with a 4-H group here in Madison County, and one of the neat things about it over the 15 years I've been here, but it's been about the last 10 years, we have seen a resurgence of bluebirds, which is pretty exciting because you don't get to see those everywhere around your homes and things. But if you come to the Gwinn, you can see all of our bluebird boxes and them flying around, and it's a pretty neat thing to look at.
And of course, when you have a facility like this, you can do a lot of educating. And during the Farm Science Review, there are tents set up, and OSU educators are under the tents. And there's a myriad of every day of the 3 days, different subjects that people can come and learn a little bit more about.
Right. Overall, during the Farm Science Review in the Gwinn Conservation Area, we have over 170 educational sessions. Everything from gardening to home improvement, to farming, to conservation. And so if you come to the Gwinn during those 3 days, there's probably going to be about 30 to 40 presentations. Everything from soil pits to trees to fish. If it deals with conservation, it's here at the Gwinn Conservation Area.
And on a day like today, as we were driving back through the prairie area, we saw a lot of the flowers, the wildflowers in the prairie that attracts, birds, bees, and other little insects, all that helps the farmer make sure that the crops will grow at the end of the year.
That's right. You know, we get concerned about the bees because we need those for all the different fruits and vegetables. But as we look at the prairies, you know, one of the things we need to look at is the natural pollinators, because we depend on the natural pollinators as much as we depend on the bees. And so the prairies like this will allow us to increase that population of those pollinators and being able just to have a wide variety of flowers and crops and things for us to enjoy.
And there are a couple of ponds out here to I guess just sort of, makes everything look pretty nice, but you do some education with them as well.
Right. So the folks in Extension that deal with pond management, they're going to be out here talking about what are the best ways to work with your pond. You know, you see a lot of ponds that may have some scum or some plants growing in them. They'll teach you how to keep your pond looking nice so that you can stock it with the correct fish and then enjoy fishing with your family.
And you have a couple of permanent structures at the Gwinn as well.
Right. We have a cabin, and that cabin is a year-long cabin that people can use for educational type events. But there will also be displays and educational type of programming going on in the cabin. So if you need a little bit of air conditioning during the Gwin Conservation Area, during your tour of it, you can just walk in and sit down and enjoy an educational session with a little bit of HVAC.
Well, and the other educational displays under the tents from the OSU educators, bales of straw there for being able to rest those legs that have been walking in the exhibit area.
We always have plenty of seating at all the different educational settings, so it's always good to rest your legs a little bit during the review because it's a lot of walking, but it's well worth it to get those nuggets of information from OSU Extension.
And again, it's very easy to get here from the exhibit area.
That's right. Just hop on a shuttle from the west end, and the shuttles run constantly from about 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock or so. And so you'll never have to wait in line for a shuttle. We have plenty for you.
Okay, our guest has been Matt Sullivan. Matt, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Gary.
And make sure when you come to the 2018 Farm Science Review that happens on September 18th, 19th, and 20th, that you make your way to the Gwin area because, well, you don't want to miss it.
That's right.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Allen Davis Insurance Agency in Wapakoneta and Minster is your solutions provider. You can trust the experienced professionals at Allen Davis Insurance to protect your assets. Call today and start saving money with multi-policy discounts and more for auto, home, life, business, recreational, total farm protection, and more. Call Allen Davis Insurance Agency in Wapakoneta and Minster. We are your solutions provider. Call 1-800-686-2148.
A strong community contains a lot of moving parts. Good jobs, a healthy economy, and maybe most importantly, pride. At Poet, we are proud to be doing our part, creating new local jobs and spurring economic development while producing products that improve lives around the globe. Together, we're not just working to serve our community, but to change the world. And that's something we can all be proud of. See the world differently with Poet.
Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and check out our website at inohiocountry.com. S&S Volvo is your locally owned heavy-duty truck dealership in the area with a full line of Volvo and Isuzu trucks. We offer Volvo, Isuzu, Cummins, and GM parts and service weekdays until midnight until 4:30 p.m. on Saturdays. We also have leasing and rental options to meet your needs. We have the expertise to get and keep you on the road. Stop by at 2600 St. John's Road or visit us at ssvolvo.com to see our wide selection of new and used truck inventory. United Equity Inc. is your locally owned farm-based cooperative. For agronomic services, we offer seed and a full line of dry and liquid fertilizer, as well as soil sampling by soil type, grid, or management zone to best utilize your fertilizer application. Call us to discuss agronomic services customized for you. Reach your best yields with United Equity, serving Allen, Auglaize, Mercer, Putnam, and Van Wert counties. Visit us on the web at unitedequityinc.com. Closed captioning paid for in part by the following. Are you looking to buy or sell farmland? Then work with a company that works for you. Ron Spencer Real Estate. Founded in 1975, Ron Spencer specializes in farmland, agricultural, and commercial real estate. Check him out on the web with 3 locations to serve you. Ron Spencer Real Estate at rsre.com. That's rsre.com.
Hello once again, everybody. We are still at the Farm Science Review site, the Molly Caron Agricultural Center, and we're visiting with the superintendent of the center itself, Matt Sullivan. Matt, we're standing at the demonstration sites that are very close to the review. In fact, people can take shuttles to come out to this site and see both soybeans and corn. First of all, what all goes on here at the demonstration site, just a little bit more than these 2 crops?
Gary, you know, 2 of the popular events are like corn combine and soybean combine, but there's a lot of other events here as well in the field demonstrations. We have tillage. People can see the latest in tillage, whether it's deep tillage or what we call like vertical tillage. There's nutrient management where they can see spreaders spreading different types of lime, gypsum, biosolids. We also have a precision ag area where they can learn about drones and soil sampling and all the different aspects of precision agriculture. And all day long running during the demos, we're also putting in drainage lines and waterways so people can learn how to drain their farms for optimum yield, but also learn about the best opportunities of like water quality management.
And besides just getting the education, you see the new equipment that's coming on board every year.
That's right. The biggest and the best combines, the biggest and the best tillage, you name it, it's out here in field demos, and you don't want to miss it.
Well, maybe some of our viewers right now are wondering about this corn behind us. What can you tell us a little bit about it?
I tell you what, Gary, I'm going to grab an ear here and we'll talk about it.
Now, as you rip off an ear, tell us a little bit about the corn itself.
It's a 100-day corn, so it's an early maturing corn. So when the visitors come and see it, it's going to be dry. We'll probably have corn moisture here of about 20 to 25%, which is very acceptable on any farm throughout the growing season. So it's planted the last week of April, and so we've done all of the correct crop management techniques we can. We sprayed it for disease, we sprayed it for weeds, we've put on the correct amount of nitrogen, and so when you can get an ear like this with from the bottom all the way to the top full, it's going to be a good year.
Apparently so. Now, this corn is something that is planted at a particular time so that it is ready for the review. You could have actually gotten a variety that, or a hybrid that is a little bit longer and possibly could be a little bit bigger.
So you're right. About half our farm is dedicated toward the Farm Science Review acres. The other half of our acres are toward production. So this is a 100-day corn. We also plant 112, 114-day corn, a longer maturity. It gives us an opportunity for better yield and to be able to evaluate short season corn and long season corn.
Now, we haven't really talked about the soils here at the review site. We're a little bit, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles north of London, Ohio. What are the soils like?
I would call it's a mix of a lot of different soils. When we look at it, as you're driving across the country, you may see soils that are black in color. We have a lot of that here. A lot of people call it Kokomo, Crosby, a little bit lighter soils, Salina. We have a mix of a lot of different soils here. And so that allows us to do some different production practices on each one of those different soils, and using GPS and new technologies in agriculture to change the rate of the planter or change the amount of nitrogen we're putting on based upon the yield potential of those different soils.
Now, when the review comes, people can actually come out here and watch the combines at work.
That's right. As close as we're standing to the combines, the visitors will be a little bit farther away, but you'll be able to see the combines run. As soon as the combines stop or the tillage stops, you can actually walk out, touch, feel, look at the combines and the tractors and the equipment and see what you like about whatever color it is. And so that's the neat thing about it. We have every major manufacturer here, not only at the Farm Science Review, but out in field demos as well.
So when farmers come here and see what they learn, they can make changes on their own farm.
That's right. We like to think of Farm Science Review as a 360 type of event. You come here and you learn during those 3 days, and you take it home and you learn about it the other 360 days of the year. So this is something that goes on year after year, where farmers come, they learn about it, and they take that technology home or what they've learned and put it on their farm.
Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break and come back and talk about soybeans.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Back right after this.
Allen Davis Insurance Agency in Wapakoneta and Minster is your solutions provider. You can trust the experienced professionals at Allen Davis Insurance to protect your assets. Call today and start saving money with multi-policy discounts and more for auto, home, life, business, recreational, total farm protection, and more. Call Allen Davis Insurance Agency in Wapakoneta and Minster. We are your solutions provider. Call 1-800-686-2148.
Hello once again, back at the Farm Science Review site, and we've actually just crossed the little road here, Matt, and from corn we go to the bean field, and you're holding a sample of what looks like some pretty fancy beans here.
Gary, they're excellent. We've had good rainfall this summer, and the beans have responded to that rainfall, and we're going to have a really good crop. I would say we're looking at 45 to 50 bushel for early season beans, and that's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome for that early of a bean, and it's for field demonstrations. We talked about for people coming out and watching harvest and everything, and so When we can have these type of beans, it puts on a good show.
Well, when you have something like this, is this something that draws when farmers know that the crops have turned out very well at the review? Is that an incentive for them to come down and watch the demonstration plots?
Well, what that does is if we have good crops, hopefully they have good crops as well, and that means they're going to have more income. And so when you have more income, you're more inclined to trade equipment earlier or to buy that extra piece of equipment maybe you were thinking about a year ago. So anytime you have good crops, farmers like to buy new equipment.
And of course, as you've said, these are early season crops, and so farmers back home, they don't want to harvest quite yet.
That's right. What we're hoping for is that we're the earliest people being able to harvest soybeans so that the farmers won't be in the field and they'll be able to come and enjoy the review and enjoy field demonstrations and all the other activities that go along with this event.
Okay, the beans that you're holding in your hands, what do they tell us?
When you're looking at them, you can see here that, you see how big the pods are, Gary? Those are going to be big beans. Big beans mean big yield. We like to have about 3 to 4 beans per pod. Most of these just have 3. Later season soybeans will potentially have 4. If you can get a pod with 4 soybeans, you're doing really well.
Very good. And so farmers, in addition to coming down and watching the harvest of the corn and the beans, can also see something that's new on site. You've improved and are also going to be showing or educating the farmers on the delivery system here at the review site.
That's right. After the soybeans and corn are harvested, the wagons and trucks are going to be going up to to the renovated grain complex. We've put in a new grain pit that will allow us to dump 500 bushel at a time. And one of the other aspects of it is when the wagon pulls up, the augers start automatically. So it improves efficiency, safety, and everything that goes along with having a large grain bin complex. So we're really excited to showcase the new aspects of our grain bin area. And so when they get off the shuttles, the grain bins will be right in front of them.
And the nice thing about the review site, when you're talking about all of agriculture, when somebody has something new like this, you're able to incorporate it into everything that you do here.
That's right. The companies want to be a part of what we're doing here at Farm Science U. So we have a lot of great partners. We have over 40 different partners, whether it's based on agriculture or conservation. So when we look at that private-public partnership, this is where it's at. It's at the Farm Science Review.
So there you have it, out here near the Gwinn Conservation Area, the demonstration plots, and you can get here very easily. Shuttles run here too, Matt, right?
Yeah, shuttles run all day long, all 3 days, and you can just hop on a shuttle, stay out of here as long as you want, and then hop on one and head back and experience the review.
Matt Sullivan has been our guest. Thanks for being with us, Matt.
Thank you, Gary.
And stay with us, back with more right after this.
S&S Volvo is your locally owned heavy-duty truck dealership in the area with a full line of Volvo and Isuzu trucks. We offer Volvo, Isuzu, Cummins, and GM parts and service weekdays until midnight until 4:30 p.m. on Saturdays. We also have leasing and rental options to meet your needs. We have the expertise to get and keep you on the road. Stop by at 2600 St. John's Road or visit us at ssvolvo.com to see our wide selection of new and used truck inventory.
Hello once again, everybody. We are at the Molly Caron Agricultural Center, just north of London. At the Farm Science Review site, I'm visiting with Farm Science Review Manager Nick Zachrich. Nick, it's always good to talk with you and catch up on what's going to be happening at the review. And my gosh, it's coming up fast and not too far down the future, September 18th, 19th, and 20th. We are at a site right now that everybody would recognize from years past, but won't recognize probably this year. This is where the Vice President's luncheon is always held. There's usually a big tent here. What happened?
Yep, so we outgrew the site basically for where that tent needs to be. So we've relocated that tent to accommodate more space and just be a little bit easier on logistics on our end for a lot of reasons with the event staff that sets that up. So what we've decided to do here with that opportunity of space is we'd like to expand our educational presentation. You know, we're very focused on corn and soybeans because it's major crops in Ohio, but we also get a lot of visitors that are in the livestock industry, which we have a lot of exhibitors that are in the beef industry and other parts of the livestock. But as far as education goes, that's a place that we can improve on and provide more resources to our visitors.
Now, does that mean that some of the exhibit areas that had livestock in the past, are they all going to be coming here?
That's a good question, Gary, but this is just educational in nature pretty much. So all the exhibitors that are in livestock, they're going to be in their same homes as they always have. Just fortunately for us, with the request to have educational space for livestock and the placement of this lot, it's right adjacent to where most of the livestock exhibitors are. We don't have, dedicated spaces for different types of or different parts of the industry, but just naturally, a lot of the folks having livestock equipment wanted to be close to the breeding associations, and just naturally, a lot of exhibitors kind of migrated to the same area, and this is in that place.
Oh my gosh, as far as education goes, you can get so much more education done in this large space than ever before.
Yeah, so we have 100 by 100 space we're going to utilize, and this year is just going to kickstart it and get it going, and over the next several years we look forward to making it into something that's a must-see for all our visitors in the livestock industry. The beef team at OSU Extension is going to get it started for us this year and have some things with cattle handling. Beef quality assurance is something that's big in the media right now, and there'll be some information about that at this site. A lot of different places that you can get resources for that for BQA throughout the rest of this year, and OSU Extension wants to share those.
Well, as far as folks coming out normally to look at livestock and see some of the quality beef and dairy in the state, that's something that you're saying that is still going to be there. And my gosh, you're very close to where all that's happening.
That's right. Most of the beef exhibitors are just to the south, and the dairy exhibitors are just to the north. So it's right in between. We'd love to see some more presence from the other species out there too, and I think in the future that's going to happen. But just to get it started, the beef team's going to be rolling and have a few things here for education, and I think it's going to develop into something great for our show.
Oh, it's everything that I like about the Farm Science Review. Put something new in and give it a chance to grow.
That's right, and we always like to tell people, give it 3 years to give it a chance to see how it goes, because the first year it's just getting started. The second year people are starting to find it, and then by year 3 you know if it's going to be a success or not.
Okay, and now let's talk a little bit about the big tent that's usually here. Where is that being moved to?
Yep, so right next to our shuttle load up for field demonstrations is where that big tent will be. So if those of you are interested where that event lunch is going to be for a lot of different reasons, that's the location now. So it's a little bit easier to get to for those folks that have some mobility needs and assistance, and I think it's going to be great. And another piece of that too is with mobility and cleanliness, we're always talking about how to make the visitor experience a little bit better, and most people are familiar with going to porta potties at a show, and that's something that you don't typically advertise for yourselves. But we have these trailers now. The industry has switched to some trailers that are much nicer, and the consensus from a lot of people is they're nicer than your bathrooms at home in most cases. So we're excited to have some of those to improve the experience, and not just have porta potties, but we have these mobile trailers that are going to be very nice. So look for those trailers. You may not recognize them as restrooms, but that's a need that everybody has when they come to a show.
And as far as the congestion, you're putting all that in one area, so the congestion shouldn't be as bad. And likewise, where the tent used to be, on the day of the Vice President's Luncheon, there was a lot of people, a lot of VIPs coming in from all over, and you rectify that congestion as well.
Yeah, that's right, and it's great to have traffic in front of your booth if you're an exhibitor. But when they're coming to a lunch and just standing in front of the booth, and it's hard to talk to visitors. There's a lot of cases in a philosophy of a show to be able to have activity going on all the time. But at the same time, the lunch isn't going on all day long, and it's not every day either. So at other times, there's not a lot of activity there. So it kind of goes both ways. You got a lot of activity during the lunch and around the lunch, but then when it's not going on, there's less activity. So this will bring more activity inside this space right here, and that'll be good for all the exhibitors around, and then also the educational piece to it as well.
And Nick, we also always like to talk about how easy it is to get to the review site.
Yeah, so we're right along I-70, so there's 2 exits that are really easy to get to, one right in the middle that can get a little bit congested. We recommend you use the State Route 56 exit if you're coming from the west, and the State Route 29 if you're coming from the east. And if you need to find the gas station, 42 is great, but it's very congested every year. So we recommend the other 2, get on to 40 and come right in. And we've made a few little changes, but nothing that the visitors will experience other than getting into the parking lot a little bit quicker, hopefully, this year. And, with the large crowd, that's a good thing to have traffic problems, but the more we can tweak it and make it better, the easier it is to get in and out, and the more time you can enjoy at Farm Science Review.
Well, Nick, we've moved around the corner, so to speak, and behind us there's an area for all kinds of different farming practices.
Yeah, so you'll find different educational pieces from OSU Extension all around the site, but on the east end where you come in, the last several years people will notice that there's been some plots that OSU Extension's put out there. So not any different than before, but probably a lot of new things that you might find out down in this area. We started putting some machinery down in this space to kind of give some ideas of what other things you can do to your machines, whether they're older or newer. New practices with nutrient management, different planting styles and things like that. Behind us we can see some cover crop there, and we'll be able to plant into cover crops. And there's a lot of people around the state that are doing that now, and some people are reluctant and just kind of talk about that and what the challenges or the benefits might be of doing so.
Well, the crops, other than this area here where we're going to be cutting into some of the planting cover crops, which looks a little rough as the fields usually are when that happens. The rest of this is just remarkable. What kind of great weather the review has had so far this year.
Yeah, and you can see from some of the crop things that Matt Sullivan was talking about. We've had adequate rainfall most of the year, and not too much rainfall is critical. That a lot of people have actually suffered a little bit around different parts of the state and region. So we've been really fortunate and really good. So when you have trouble finding planting dates throughout the summer, when it's usually really dry and it's easy to plant, that means the seed's going to come up pretty well too. So all the different dates we have have different planting dates for corn. So it's not just fully mature corn that you're seeing in these displays. There's going to be some things that you're going to see that doesn't look normal, and we want you to go ask questions of those educators or the staff in the space.
Very good. A few tips for the 2018 Farm Science Review, which is going to be held September 18th, 19th, and 20th. Nick Zachrich has been our guest. Thanks, Nick, for being with us.
Great. Thank you, Gary.
And stay with us. Back with more right after this.
Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of In Ohio Country Today. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel and more. You can always check out our website at inohiocountry.com. Have a good day, everybody.